So I'm here to talk about tokenization and how it's impacting each and every one of us. Either we realize it or we don't, it's making an impact. And it's making an impact because it's truly affecting what matters to us, ownership. I wanted to take you down a journey. Think of an old dusty road in a village called Sidama in Ethiopia. Besides that road, there is a coffee plantation, a small patch of land that has been passed generations to generations. And there's a lady named Ada growing cocoa beans on it. She sells her beans to the traders and effectively makes a living out of it. Ada is one of the most intelligent people out there in that village. She is driven, she is smart, she is passionate, and she has amazing ideas of how to take her business forward. Her challenge is cash flow. She does not have access to funds. Hence, when she approached the bank for a loan, unfortunately, it was rejected because she did not have the right paperwork in place. Remember, there's an actual piece of land and there's actual crop being grown over there, which means there's real value over there. Go about 2,761 kilometers and you land in UAE. And there's an investor sipping on his Ethiopian coffee in a coffee shop, thinking about investing in coffee, thinking about investing in agriculture, sustainability, and something that's close to his heart. And he opens his mobile, flicks through the applications, goes to his investment platform. What does he find? Real estate funds, ESG portfolios, but nothing is truly giving him the sense of ownership. And this is where the problem lies. This is a person who wants to invest, and over there we had someone who needed those funds. There are two people on planet Earth that want to work together, but the system is keeping them apart. What system am I referring to? The system of ownership. The concept of ownership. What is ownership for you and me, and what we understand of it was meant for a different era at a different time. I mean, it's like almost living in dinosaur era. The whole problem is that the concept of ownership is no longer valid in today's digital world. So what is tokenization doing for this problem statement? What is its goal? Its goal is to effectively bridge the excluded and bring them to being empowered. The goal is to convert those promises to trust. It is about going from that financial revolution to the moral revolution. It is about building that bridge between Ethiopia and UAE in our story. So, to simplify what is tokenization, the first step is understanding what asset are you talking about, whether it's a tangible asset or an intangible asset. You're effectively seeking to fulfill a goal to see, can the ownership of this asset be digitally claimed. The next step in your journey is the valuation of the token itself, whereby you're assigning a perceived market value with a goal to identify how many tokens are you going to break the ownership into. Thereafter, you go through the process of KYC and AML. The goal is to make sure that you're preventing money laundering and fraud, because you want to be transacting with peers who have been verified. And thereafter, you jump into the first phase, where it is the token distribution itself. As a part of the token distribution, you're effectively transferring the ownership of those tokens to those verified users. In many cases, you go through a secondary phase as well, whereby further tokens may be distributed, or there may be a resell of tokens between the verified users. Now, usually, this is done to improve the liquidity. And finally, those tokens are listed on a verified exchange with an intent for that asset to reach a market value and also improve on the liquidity. How is tokenization impacting me and you? Why should we care? If this is something that is not relevant to you today in your day-to-day life, it will be relevant soon. For example, a common person could not have dreamt of owning a Basquiat art back in the day. You had to be in a very specific social circle with access to millions of dollars just to own a piece of art. You may be an admirer of Michael Basquiat's art, but you would never be able to own it. Today, a company allows you to just have $50 and a registered wallet, and you can own a piece of Basquiat. In Brazil, there's a company called CoSolar, which effectively raised funds through the concept of tokenization to create a solar power plant. Could a normal individual, we are not talking about corporate funds, we're talking about individual investments, have ever thought of owning a piece of a solar plant, an infrastructure of that size? Today, you can. If you care about renewable energy and you believe that the future lies in there and you believe that's a great investment, now you have an opportunity to invest in something like that, even without having millions in your bank account. Take the example of Ghana. It isn't necessarily about ownership in that case, but about curbing the concept of smuggling. They have a huge problem with gold smuggling in Ghana. And tokenization has allowed this problem to be, well, I can't say removed completely, but it's absolutely decreased because the regulators were able to verify the miners and hence be able to attach a digital certificate to every production unit. From there on, every unit is tracked when the miners sell it to the buyers and the buyers sell it to the exporters. And through the whole supply chain, there's now the tracking going on because that's what this allows it for. So you can see that there are many ways in which tokenization is applied in our day-to-day lives. Tomorrow, while you're here in the UAE, you may be able to own parts of properties that you never thought you could. And this is just going to keep increasing across all asset classes. Whether it's real estate, whether it's art, whether it's company equity, you will no longer be held back just because you do not have the full fund. So what is tokenization doing? Tokenization is effectively connecting the farmer to the financier. It is connecting the dreamer to the doer. And ultimately, it's connecting the value to the values of individual. Tokenization isn't just about blockchain, crypto, technology. Yes, technology does play a part in enabling tokenization. However, these fancy words are just throwing you off. Ultimately, it's about ownership. It's about the concept of fractional ownership. It's about the trust that you have with other individuals in regards to ownership. Today, you know you own a piece of a company because of your share certificate, or you know you own a piece of your property because of a title deed. These are just different mediums, whereby tokenization is a much more secured way of being able to represent your ownership. So what do we do next? Where do we go from here? Number one, we need to look at our systems. While everyone out there is focusing on building faster, fancier, flashier systems, what is really needed are systems that are meant for the community. Systems that have UI, UX experiences that common people can relate to. That's easy to use, that simplifies your life. The next piece is to focus on regulations. While the government has done a lot of progress, we are still not at a stage where risk-taking and innovation is praised. On the contrary, we are still punished many a times for being innovative, for being the first movers. And this is where the regulation needs to move. Then you talk about education. How many people do you know in your social circle that are comfortable about fractional ownership, that are comfortable about shared ownership? It's not about giving the education on what is tokenization. It's about giving the education about how shared ownership truly matters, that you still own. As human beings, we're so used to owning the whole of something and not sharing that it's almost impossible for our brain to understand that the collective unit can own a collective asset. And finally, we have to talk about access, because no revolution, no change has ever happened on planet Earth without mass movement. So it is our collective responsibility to spread as much awareness as we can. We need for the world to know that they now have access to being owners of assets that they never thought they could. This is a question for each and every one of you. What if ownership became the most powerful tool for social mobility in the 21st century? Each and every one of you knows already that this is a possibility. The question for you is, where were you? What were you doing? What was the role you played? Did you impact the regulations? Did you raise awareness? Did you spread education? What was the role that you played, you contributed in the mobility of the next revolution? Ada was able to find a global platform that helped her tokenize her farm. She was able to raise funds that allowed her to increase her crop yield, increase her profits, and she did not stop at that. She became an advocate for tokenization and even spread the word amongst the other women in her village. Why? Because ownership should not be a privilege. It is a right. It's one token, one story to build one future at a time. Thank you.